Hello all my lovelies, this is Sock Ninja Cosplay coming at you again with another tutorial. This time it's EVA Foam knee armor. Hold the applause, I know, not all heroes wear capes. Alright, and so for this tutorial I'm actually working on the knee armor from my Uther build designed by Fischer illustration. Now one thing about Zach is he loves details. Now, one of my favorite pieces about this specific set is that Zach actually incorporated a curved knee. So in order to get that, I wound up making a ton of patterns for this. Now, thanks to Zach's love of details, it actually makes patterning out pieces so much easier. You're able to look at a lot of his work and figure out how you can incorporate that to real life, and then it just basically comes to life before your eyes. So I did a ton of patterns here. This is the first. This was just kind of a rough overall shape of the base pattern with everything else thrown on top of it. I then created a second pattern from the first pattern where I went down the middle of it and then I created a curved line from top to bottom, and you'll see why I did that here in a little bit. So, following the trend of a pattern from a pattern, I created a third one. This time, this one is actually going to be the one that I trace out on my pieces of foam. So, since I am a glutton for punishment, you will notice there is actually a second piece to this knee armor. Very much like the first one, it follows that curved detail that I pointed out to you earlier. So surprise, surprise, what did I do? I created a pattern for it. And then I created a second pattern that I spliced right down the middle to create that nice curve. And then I created a third pattern from that. Pattern, pattern, pattern. So many patterns on this already, and it's just the knee. So we're going to go ahead and transfer this foam, and you're going to really see this pop to life. So I don't think this point really needs a lot of explanation. I'm literally just tracing my patterns onto the foam at this point in time. So what I would like to do is tell you about this foam that I am using. It is from TNT Cosplay Supply. This is the 6mm EVA foam. It is super dense, super cheap. These guys are freaking amazing. If you guys haven't ordered from them before, you should totally check out their website, tntcosplaysupply.com. As always, safety first, so let's put on those no-cut gloves to protect our paws and start cutting this foam out. After you're done cutting out those pieces, go ahead and line them up and make sure they properly fit. Now this next step isn't something that you have to do, but it's something that saves me a lot of time from dremeling, and that is cutting the foam at an angle as you see here. You're going to want to make sure that you mirror this on both pieces. Alright, so it's all cut off. It's now time to put on my respirator, and I'm going to get my Dremel going and start smoothing out those bevel cuts that I did with these scissors earlier. Again, the bevel cuts I did earlier with the scissors was just to make the dremeling time shorter. It actually creates kind of a rough texture, so going over it with the Dremel is going to smooth it out and make sure that those pieces join perfectly. So Dremel everything smooth and join the pieces together and make sure they fit. Now it's time for the fun step of gluing everything together. Please put on gloves for this next step. It is now time to get fun and messy. So break out your contact cement of choice. Mine just happens to be barge cement. And get gluing. Now you'll see here I am using a Q-tip to apply this contact cement onto the edges that I just beveled. Now, since I'm just doing the same thing with the second piece, I'm gonna go ahead and speed this step up a little bit. After the glue is applied to both pieces, you can sit back, check your Instagram for about 5 to 10 minutes until the glue is no longer tacky. That's when you'll know it's ready for the pieces to be joined together. Now, be very careful during this process because once it's stuck, it is stuck. Those pieces will not budge, and you will more than likely rip your pieces of work that you just spent so long creating. So be careful and take your time with this step. Once the base armor is done and secured together, it's time to move on to your accent pieces. So just trace it, cut it out, and repeat everything that you saw me do with the base armor. This process has been sped up. Otherwise, it would have turned into a 15-minute tutorial. And here you can see that I am beveling the edges yet once again. Once everything is glued together and ready to go, you're going to grab your Dremel once again and start dremeling those seams. The point to dremeling your seams is for the next step in my next video, which you will see, but I will tell you about it right here and right now. We're going to be filling these seams with silicone caulking, so the smoothest that we can get this, the better. It's going to be so much less work in the future and less frustration. Alright guys, so that is it for my basic knee armor construction tutorial. I hope you learned something awesome and something that can be applied to your future cosplay making endeavors. If you guys are interested in seeing more of my work, you can find me on Instagram at SockNinjaCosplay and also on Facebook at SockNinjaCosplay. You'll see some of the cool things I've built and some of the things I'll be bringing to future tutorials. Happy crafting, everyone!